so we are doing Module 4, Lesson 17, which is relating fractions to decimals and multiplication. Okay, basically we're multiplying fractions and decimals together. But the end result, I want to be written as a decimal, which is why you guys got that template just now, to help you remember how to write these numbers as decimals. Alright, so let's take a look at the first one, which I did for you so that you could see. Mason, we're not worried about lunch right now. So that you can see how I want us to work our problems today. Max, we're not worried about lunch right now. Let's not worry about the time, and let's focus on what we're doing in math. Now, 0.1 times 4. Looking at how it is said, we don't say 0.1. That's not the mathematically correct way to say 0.1. Look at your template that I just gave you. If you look at that template, you will see your decimal column. Does everybody see the decimal column? All right, put your finger on it so I see that you're following along. All right, now, you have that decimal, and then look at this number. Where is this 1? Is it right after the decimal? No. Okay, so what column is that 1 in? Tenths. So we would say 1, and then whatever column that digit is in. The digit that has a value to it. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But looking at this one is in the tenths place, so we say 1/10. And then this multiplication sign stands for what word? Of. And then 4. So 0.1 times 4, another way to say that and say it correctly is 1/10 of 4. Everybody follow me so far? Yeah. All right, now we're going to rewrite it as we said it. So as we said it, we said 1/10 of 4. Well, 1/10 as a fraction times 4. 1/10 of 4. And then we solve it. 1 times 4 over 10, which is equal to 4/10. 4/10, and then 4/10 as a decimal. If we look at our template sheet and we put a 4 in that tenths place, then we would write it as 0.4. So everybody follow this first problem. Yeah. Got some people dazing off. That means we're not focused right now. Do I need to call names for those? Cameron. How would you say 0.4? If that 4, you'd say it as 4/10. Good. Michael. Okay. If you simplify 4/10, what would that simplify to? It'd be 2/5. How are you going to write 2/5 as a decimal looking at your template sheet? Is there a column for fifths? No. That's why we're not worried about simplifying these. Because we want our answer to be written as a decimal, you don't have to simplify. You guys should be happy about that. I'm going to say that one more time. You don't have to simplify. Okay? All you have to do is multiply the numerators together, and then when we get to it, multiply the denominators together. And then write it as a decimal. Our denominators are either going to be 10, 100, or 1,000 today. Because that's how we deal with our decimals. Looking at your template, you have tenths, hundredths, and thousands. Everybody look at your template. Put your finger on the tenths. That's tens. Put your finger on the tenths. Put your finger on the hundredths. And on the thousands. Okay, so we're only dealing with those 3 places. Cameron. If you put a 2 in the tenths place, it'd just be 2 tenths. In the tens place, T-E-N-S, and 20. No, it would be 20 and 1/10. Yes. Well, again, what you're saying is, this is kind of repeated multiplication or repeated addition. So you're saying 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 is 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths. And 4 tenths is written as 0.4. Okay? Here. What's the difference between tens and tenths? Okay, I'm going to pause the video for 1 second. Stop spinning that on your finger, Tiana. Put it down so that you can see. And we can roll our eyes another time. Okay? Alright, the next problem is 0.1 times 2. Now I want to say 0.1 correctly. How can I say that correctly? Haley, I want to say 0.1. 0.1 is not correct. That's a shortcut way. Brandy. 1/10. Good. Alright, but instead of times, I want to use that other word. Of 2. There we go. So we're going to say 1/10, and I want you guys to write this on your paper. 1/10 of 2. This is how we say it. 1/10 of 2. Write it down. Just like I have written it on the board. Brian, focus on what you need to be doing right now. Alright, now to rewrite it as we spoke it. Now I want it to be written as a fraction problem, as a multiplication with fraction problem. So Mason, how would I rewrite that? Very good. And this 1/10 then written as a fraction, 1/10 times 2. Alright, now I want to solve it. How can I solve 1/10 times 2? Brooklyn. 1 times 2 over 10. And 1 times 2 over 10 would be equal to what?
2 tenths.
2 tenths. Now, everybody look at your place value chart if you need to. If that 2 is in the tenths column, then how would I write that as a decimal? Key size. 0.2. Very good. Alright, now we have 0.01 times 6. How can I say it? I want to say it. Max?
100.
But I don't want to say times. Very good. 100 of, I'm just going to do it underneath it, 6. 100 of 6. Sure you write it down. So I want you guys to write it as words. Write it as it would be said. Ready? Do you have a question? Okay. Alright, now to rewrite it as we spoke it. As we spoke it. Chrysalin.
1/100 times 6.
Very good. 1/100 times 6. Excellent. All right, now I want to solve it. Solve it. Kisa. All right, 1 times 6/100. And 1 times 6/100, Brian, is what? Oh, that is a fraction. 600, or 6/100. And now as a decimal, Jesselyn. Very good. 0.06. That 6 should be in the hundredths column because you have 6 hundredths. All right, for this page, we are going to work on modeling these problems. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that on the problem set that you guys are going to get, on the first page is modeling. But on the back side, there's no modeling. Okay? See? No modeling on the back, just on the front. I want you to do the modeling. We're going to learn how to do the modeling because it helps you to understand the foundation of how to solve these multiplication problems and what you're actually looking at. In fact, our smartboard is pretty cool, and I'm going to turn off the light so that we can see even better, is that it really helps us out with the highlighting, and I'm going to explain it in just a minute. So let's look at this first problem. We have 0.1 times 0.1. Now, I've just said those numbers incorrectly. Said them incorrectly on purpose because I want you guys to recognize how we're supposed to say it correctly. So how am I supposed to say 0.1 times 0.1? Haley. 1/10 of 1/10. That is the mathematically correct way to say, or of saying 0.1 times 0.1. All right, and then to write it as we said it, obviously 1/10 times 1/10, or 1/10 of 1/10. All right, now the model. I know we don't like it, but I promise you it's not as hard as it seems. When I say 1/10 of 1/10, we're talking columns and rows. So this first 1/10 here, I have shown in blue. Okay? And then for the second 1/10, I demonstrated in yellow. And what you're looking at for the answer is the combination of both blue and yellow. But when you mix blue and yellow together, what do you get?
Green.
Green. Look at our model. I showed 1/10 with the row, and then I did 1/10 with a column. And how many boxes are green? One. So if I'm looking at it, this is one box out of how many boxes? 100. And how could I say this fraction?
100.
I would say 100. And if you put a 1 in the hundredths column on your template, you would see that it is written as 0.01. Okay, does everybody see that? All right, let's take a look at this next one then. So we're dealing with 0.2 times 0.1. Math teachers all over the world are rolling over in their grave because I said it incorrectly. How can I say it correctly? Not 0.2 times 0.1, that's gross. How could I say that, Amaya? Oh no, rolling over in their graves. Say it correctly. Michael.
2/10 of 1/10.
2/10. What, highlighting? 2/10 of 1/10. 2/10 of 1/10. So Maya, do you understand that part? Okay. All right, now I want to write it as I just said it. 2/10 of 1/10 would be written how, Cameron? 2/10 times 1/10. Do you have a question? Okay. All right. I don't want to solve it here. You might choose to solve it here, but I don't want to solve it here. I want to move on to the model first. All right. How can I model 2/10 of 1/10? Brandy.
Shaving 2 boxes.
All right. Do I want just 2 boxes? 2 rows. Okay, rows go which direction? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. Rows go horizontal. So I'm going to shade in 2 rows. And now I want to shade in 1 column. So this 1/10 is represented by my yellow. The 2/10 is represented by the blue. And what we're looking for is the combination of both yellow and blue. So 1/10 the opposite direction. And what do we see? How many boxes are the combination of both the 2/10, so this is the 2/10, and this is the 1/10, and so 2/10 and 1/10 would equal what, Baha?
200.
200. I have 2 boxes that are green, so 2 green out of 100 total, which is equal to 2 hundredths. And who can tell me how to write that as a decimal? Danya.
0.02.
Very good. 0.02. Okay. So this one, we've already noticed, is different from the other ones because it has a whole number here. So I'm going to say it incorrectly. I want somebody to correct what I say. 1.2 times 0.1. Who can correct me? Caleb.
1 2/10 of 1/10.
Very good. 1 and 2/10 of 1/10. Excellent job. You said that perfectly. 1 and 2/10 of 1/10. All right. Before I move on to write it as it is spoken, does anybody know how else I can say 1 and 2 tenths. Instead, like I don't want to have that hole there. I don't want to say 1 and. But it has to be the same value as that. This is going back to first order. Some of you might have to dig real deep. I don't want to use that word and. I want to keep the denominator of 10. So I want to keep tenths. But it's not going to be 1 and 2 tenths. Amaya, what do you think? Yes, very good. Okay, so another way of saying that is 12 tenths of 1 tenth. 12 tenths of 1 tenth. And guys, this is what I want us to focus on for lesson 17 here. For lesson 17, I don't want us to say the 1 and or the 2 and, or I don't want us to have a whole number. I want us to write it as the fractions. All right, so how could I now write 12 tenths as I just said it? I'm calling somebody who hasn't been called on very much. Brooklyn. Good. 12 over 10. Finish out that problem. So we got the 12 tenths of 1 tenth. Very good. Times 1 tenth. 12 tenths times 1 tenth. How on earth can I model 12 tenths? How can I model 12 tenths? Miguel. Two tallies?
Two lines.
So if I'm doing my highlighter, am I doing horizontal or vertical? Your pick. What? Vertical. So you want me to do 12 columns. Vertical is columns. That's up and down. All right. So he said to do this one whole box. And we're going to do vertical. I'm going to go ahead and get in the habit of going up and down here. A little sloppy. I'm not really worried about staying in the lines on this one. All right, so we have one whole box. How many columns did I just color in? Ooh, I colored in 100 columns? I colored in 10 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I need how many? 12. So I need to keep going and say 1 and 2. So now, how many columns do I have colored in? 12 columns. But I need to multiply this 12 tenths times 1 tenth. Alright? What am I going to do? Baha. Very good, Baha. I'm going to do one blue row, but I'm not just going to do it into one of the models. I have to do it into both of them. So I'm going to take my blue row, and there's my blue row there, and I'm going to do the same thing because whatever I do to one thing, you have to do to the other. So if I did one blue row into this box, I have to do one blue row into this box. And so looking now at just our green sections here, just the green ones, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 green. And I know that we might want to say that it's out of 200, but we're only counting it out of 100. You only count it out of one unit, one box, which is 100 total. So we have 12 green out of 100 total. And 12 out of 100 is what?
Write it as a decimal.
Is 12 hundredths, but now I want to write that as a decimal. Alright, let me go with Miss Brandy.
0.12.
Very good. 0.12. 12 hundredths.